Cool. Welcome back, everybody.
So, you are planning on heading back to the city at this time, is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to
Okay.
meet with Yuey and Adair and head to the city.
Okay. Right, so you leave the fort, you circle back, you pick them up, they're hiding in the woods. You manage to communicate via messenger. Sounds like you're talking about a smartphone or something, doesn't it? So, you begin your trek back to the City of Repertum. The remainder of the day passes easily enough as the road winds through the woods. And as night falls, it adjoins with the main east-west route upon which you had traveled previously. So it's now nighttime. Are you going to continue to travel through the night, or are you just going to set up camp for the evening? Maybe you're just by the ruins, if you recall the ruins.
I can't remember how far away that was from the town.
It was like a day. It was a day's ride.
Okay, yeah, let's just make camp then.
Yeah.
Oh, those ruins. Okay, yeah.
It's going to take us most of the night to get home.
Yeah, let's just make camp.
Yeah, agreed. It would be nice to just make sure that everything spells are filled and whatnot.
Okay, so you're going to make camp for the night. What is your watch order, please?
Breaker last.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll go second.
Elias is just before. Should we do it like we did before? Elias was like just before Breaker.
Okay. So who's first and second between Yuey and Adair?
Tanax first.
Okay.
Then Adair?
I think Yuey.
Or
Who needs 8 hours sleep? All of you except for me. Okay.
And Yuey doesn't have low light.
dark vision.
Yuey should be first watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Okay, so the order is Tanog, Adair, Yuey, Elias, and then Breaker, right?
Yeah. By that time, Elias will have tranced until his watch, so he like chills with Breaker for the rest of the night.
Okay.
So and Breaker's watch, Elias is also awake.
Okay, cool. Let me just make some rolls on this side as well. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so you're on watch at night. You get your head down, you set up camp, and you start a campfire. I'm assuming you guys are going to cook, perhaps drink and what have you, the usual campsite activities at night. You're a fair way from the main supply route. You're by the ruins, which are relatively close to the road, but it's still far enough away that you can have, some cover behind the mounds. So while you're on watch, things pass relatively uneventfully. You can hear the occasional sort of merchant wagon on the main road. You're close enough to hear them. What I need is for you all, except for Yuey, to go on mute so you can't hear us talking, and don't go on Roll20. So scroll off Roll20 and give me a thumbs up when you've done that. And once we're ready, I'll give you a thumbs up again. You can rejoin, okay?
Um,
Cool. So Yuey, go across to Roll20 for me, please.
Okay. Can you hear me properly now?
Yeah.
Let's see.
So while Yuey is sleeping, you have the most extraordinary and disturbing dream. You dream that you are in a forest. The ground itself is burning. The trees are burning all around you. You can feel the heat on your skin, and you are disturbed by what is happening around you. You're in a great amount of fear. As you turn you see a huge figure. He looks like this. And he says to you, Yuey, you must join us. Our power is from the same master. We only want order. Sei sud Ulov half eat.
Do I recognize that last piece?
And with that, you wake up with a startle in a cold sweat. Let's give a thumbs up to other people.
Are you back?
Okay. So yeah, you waking up in a cold sweat, like you're literally pouring a sweat.
So it takes a couple of minutes to recompose, to like drink some water from the water skin. Maybe have a wander around the ruins and try to sort of readjust.
When does this happen? When does he wake up?
It's actually on your watch, Elias.
Cool. So I'm turned, and I say, Yuey, is everything all right?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I just had a vision. It's nothing.
Vision.
It's just a dream. Nothing to be worried about. But you can see he's like the sweat is pouring down his face, and he's quite shaken.
Well, I'm here if you want to talk about it.
Thanks. I'll be.
Okay. So, Yuey, what are you going to do? You're just going to go back to sleep at this point?
Probably go for like a wander for like 20 or 30 minutes, and then try to get back to sleep. I don't know if he'll be able to get back to sleep, but maybe study his tome for a while under the light of like a minor cantrip. Try to maybe find some answers within.
Okay. So the rest of the night passes more or less without incident. And you awaken as the sun begins to rise. You pack up your camp the next morning and you head eastward into the city. As the day goes on, you pass the occasional merchant caravan or pilgrim. The land increasingly becomes more and more civilized until, once again, the road is lined with cypress trees and fruit trees, and the hum of the city slowly comes into earshot. And you arrive before long at the outer districts of the City of Repertum. I would like you, while you're traveling, please, can you all give me a perception? Call it out. What do you guys get?
Breaker got 15.
Okay.
8 for you.
Okay.
22 for Adair.
Elias got 6 and Tenno got 12.
Okay. So, Breaker and Adair, while you're traveling to the city, and just as you're getting, within sort of earshot of the hum and drum of the City of Repertum, you notice something a little bit odd. In the back of some of the carts and sort of the passengers in these carts, it's just kind of out of place. That a lot of them seem to have, like a strip of cloth or bandages over their face. Quite a few individuals, some in the back of the carts, and some as sort of passengers. And you actually, as you get to the outskirts of the city, you actually notice the occasional sort of beggar or person who's essentially living on the street has got like some sort of strip of cloth or something covering their eyes.
Street-based person.
Do you want to give me
Specifically their eyes, sorry.
Yes, specifically their eyes, yes. Adair, do you want to give me a medicine, please?
Sure. 7.
Okay. Well, you do notice one thing. You're assuming that they've probably been blinded.
I point it out to the rest of the group and say, I wonder what that's about. We should probably maybe inquire, seeing as though we just dealt with something that can also change your...
Are the rags covering their faces like? Are there any kind of rag, or is it like looks like a specific kind of gauze or white cloth or something like that?
It's not specific. It's all sorts of cloth. Basically, things like
Whatever someone has, yeah.
Precisely.
I want to just make a cloth like that, just in case. Just like a rag strip, and like keep it handy in case.
Cool. Okay, yeah, you tear a strip of cloth off something that you've got, and you make sort of a an eye bandage, basically. Cool. So you're getting into the outskirts of the city now. What exactly do you want to do? You wanted to go see Sparax, is that correct?
Yeah.
And also Salar, the beastie.
Okay.
Yeah, should we not get rid of this thing first?
Yeah.
So, go for it.
And I was just gonna say, should we go to the brass tankard first, or check with Matt Contact?
By the way, are we not still kind of wanted in this? We can't just be roaming about. I don't know what the perception is of Breaker and Elias, but I know myself and Yuey aren't great because we've been cast away.
Yeah. Let's disguise you somehow.
Okay.
Do you have any other rags? There was a cloth that was covering the basilisk. Maybe we can just like fashion some sort of hoods, put some pieces on your guys' eyes. Oh, wait, you got horses that you need to ride.
I'm sure we could do like a hood thing. Try go semi-igno.
Incognito.
Incognito.
Jeez.
It's a great word. I love that word.
Slurring so bad.
So you want to try and disguise yourself. There's no reason you can't just lead your horses. Other people can't lead your horses if you wanted to like completely cover yourself or whatever. Like, that's fine.
I think we'll be vigilant and try and not be.
Actually, if I recall, we'll be fine because like the outskirts of this place weren't that like secure, but we had to like through like the slums. We can probably just go there, park off our horses, and then when we try to get into the city, we might have a problem. We need to disguise up.
I mean, I think Yuey is nervous, so he would have like a hood drawn at least, but not like covering his eyes or anything, but just staying like, slightly anonymous.
Okay. So, bearing in mind last time, you did notice that the sort of security around the city had been increased. So, just to describe, what the city of Repertum looks like. So it's a beautiful, beautiful city. If you imagine sort of a Romanesque type of city, the walls or the buildings have sort of walls made of wide stone bricks with kind of large decorative arches. The roofs are lazily sloped and topped with terracotta tiles. Doors generally are made of heavy wood and are ornately carved. The windows are large and open and paneled with thin glass. For decoration, sort of walls and ceilings are often painted in ornate styles or adorned with colorful mosaics. Flowers kind of pour from balconies, and tall, slender cypress trees line the main roads. But the atmosphere as you near the city is tense, to say the least. People scurry here and there. There's a general sense of oppression and fear in the air. But, at least you're safe from the evils of the Sharplin and their dastardly plots against the Dominion. It's all about safety. The brass tankard, just FYI, if you have a look at Roll20, it is within the city gates. You want to give me, not Adair, everybody but Adair, give me a history, please.
The digital dice hate me again.
Break is too sober for this.
10 for you.
Okay. What do you guys get? You got to read them out for me.
Elias got a 7 and Tanner got a 5.
Break got a 4.
Okay, it should be fine to be, especially Yuey. Okay, even though it's only a 10, that's fine because you're so familiar with the city. So you think that so long as the guards don't recognize you, I mean, you will be disarmed. If you enter the city, you are going to be disarmed. They're not going to take your weapons from you, but you can't carry weapons and you can't be wearing armor because you're essentially equipped for battle within the city limits. So they're going to make sure that you remove your armor and you stow your weapons somewhere. So essentially, you're not ready for combat, right? So you know that much at least. But whether they recognize you or not, you're not sure. That's the big question mark.
I think we can still take the risk. I have the ability to charm a person if that happens.
Okay.
Not an entire army, but a single person can go a long way.
At this point as well, it's getting dark, so it's kind of like evening time over the city of Rippertum. So tell me what you would like to do. So are you trying to enter the city? Is there anything that you would like to do on the outskirts?
I think now that we are about to enter, I think I'll take Breaker's advice and do the same thing that everyone else has been doing and wrap something around my eyes, and hopefully that the others can take our horses.
Why don't Adair and Breaker pose as like wagon carriers, blind like peasant wagon carriers, so we can try get that basilisk into the brass tankard because we have a contact there, or we're selling reagents of some sort, and Elias is leading us as our master or something like that.
Yuey might also need to be blinded or wrapped up. So I think that's probably...
Maybe we can also stow our weapons or something like that inside there if we need them.
Yeah. Do we
inside the innards of the...
Yeah, do I know what the crime would be where the punishment is blinding?
Roll me a history.
Could maybe Yuey do that as well?
Sure.
I got a 21.
And you as well got a 14. That's fine.
14, yeah.
So Elias and Yuey, you have to think about what crime that punishment might befit. You think that blinding is a punishment that is usually carried out for high crimes to do with state. So to do with the state. So for example, there are nobles, of course, but no nobles in name within the Rippertum Dominion. But for example, if you were to have commit a crime against the Senate, for example, then the punishment, depending on the crime, might be blinding. So it's those sort of high-level crimes.
It doesn't seem likely that that's a... Oh, wait, you haven't shared that information.
I wonder if these are people who have crossed Mercator.
But these are like street people and stuff.
Exactly. It could just be something like, well, you're in the way. Crimes against the state.
Well, or it's not to do with that at all, and it's maybe like something completely different that has caused them to go blind. It's not necessarily that it has been done by the city's hands.
Yeah, potentially.
So what do you think about the plan to wheel the cart and then, like, let's get our horses checked in and take it from there? First.
Yeah.
I think we can just kind of stroll back in there. more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. I don't think they would be like. Oh no, my video's gone. I don't know if they would be like on the lookout for Yuey and Adair because, as far as everyone knows, they're dead in the sewers.
Yeah, but if there is a chance that this can be perceived as a crime, then maybe it's obviously not a good idea to wrap ourselves up the same way, because that might not let us get entrance to the city.
Well, maybe we could just make you look like poor people,
Pets.
like
Yeah, pretty much.
like peasants.
Okay, so you're dropping your horses off at the stable. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we pull the cart without the horse?
No,
Oh.
not at all. It's too heavy to pull without a horse.
How many horses does it require?
Just one would be fine.
Okay. Should we drop off all the other horses and then?
Okay. So if you have a look at the map on Roll20, tell me which gate you're actually going to enter from. So bearing in mind you're arriving from the west. So it's going to be, essentially you've got these three gates, if I ping them on the map. The brass tankard, you do recall, Breaker and Elias, is basically on the waterfront. It's over here, essentially.
So I guess that like northern gate, that charter.
Okay. Okay, so
last
who
time
is...
we had our horses at Southgate, right?
no, the stables are a bit higher. So
okay, so we can just go back to
Grom's Antiquities were Southgate.
okay. Yes, yeah, okay, cool. So we could just go to Shartown or whatever it is.
Shot Town. So who are actually disguising themselves? So what are you doing? Are you putting a hood over your head, or are you putting like a bandage over your eyes? Like, what are you actually doing?
I guess we're first of all disarming ourselves. No armor.
Are you putting your weapons and armor in the cart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, under the basilisk.
Can we stash them somehow?
What do you mean?
Like hide them underneath the basilisk or amongst the body?
Yeah.
Or tie them like under the cot or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you could certainly tie them under the cart if you so wish. Your weapons, not so much your armor, but.
Can I use my smuggler knowledge to figure out the best way to smuggle in our weapons? To have some sort of insight.
Sure, go for it.
Secret panel.
Like deception?
Yeah, roll me a deception.
Yeah, the secret panel I just installed in this cart. I rolled
Don't
There's
listen
no
to
way
this,
we had
smuggler.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 6.
Can Breaker assist, because we've been through this situation before. Maybe we're like, no, it goes over here.
Sure, absolutely.
Wait, before you roll, can I use one of my cantrips called Guidance?
Yeah.
Just to give you a little. I put my hand
Well,
on
you
your
could
shoulder.
You
and
could
I'm
always
like,
roll
"You
with
can do
inspiration.
this."
Right? You can hide these weapons. Go for it.
I'm all out of inspiration, but I'll take advantage from Breaker's assist. And then,
Sure.
Adair, how does that thing work? Does it give me advantage, or do I get a bonus?
I think you get a
Get
bonus.
1d4
You get 1d4.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's literally just me like, being like
So just
"You
hang on,
got
but
this,
before you do
pal."
this, oh, never mind.
Sorry.
I was going to say, before you do this, like, what are you actually trying to find out? What is the question that you're asking here? Is it just the best way to smuggle weapons into a city? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the best way to smuggle these weapons in would be. Like, if we put it like under the carts, are they likely to search under there? If we like put it under the basilisk,
Can,
like,
can
I think
we
that might be a better option.
Can we-
Inside the bus.
can we be trying to figure it out like as
the
we're
way
doing
to-
it?
Mm-hmm.
No, like can we like, okay, cool, let's put the sword underneath here, get some string. Okay, cool, that like fits well. Keep going to the next part. Like,
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, what did you actually? Are you trying to roll? Right? You're trying to make a roll.
Yeah.
plus the day
I think the
D4.
deception might be to actually hide the things,
Right. So you got a 14 on your deception, right?
and then plus 1d4.
Okay.
Should Adair roll?
No,
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know how to roll.
the target can
Okay.
roll a
Okay.
d4.
Okay. So I rolled a 2, so I got a 16 in total.
Okay. So you got a 16 on trying to figure out a good way to hide your weapons. So you think that tying them underneath the cart is valid, but you do see a disadvantage with that, because remember that if the guards discover that you have tried to hide something rather than just in the back of the cart, it makes it look significantly more suspicious, even though the likelihood of them actually finding it in the first place is less. You see what I mean?
Mm.
However, there might be more options. Bearing in mind the city is coastal, so you could always enter from the water side, as long as you were very careful about it, and create basically a float, right? And just enter by the water if you wanted to. But yeah, so you realize that there's that double-edged sword of, you can either just put them in the back underneath your tarpaulin, and if they find them, you say, oh, well, I didn't know. Or if you hide them underneath, there's less of a chance of them finding them, but if they do find them, it looks very suspicious.
So
Do we
should modify the cart to be a raft and then get everything in like that.
Yeah, I've got a ship again.
A little boat.
Um,
I think that's too much effort, to be honest.
do we know that weapons are an issue? Because it hasn't been an issue before.
So it's not so much of an issue. Wielding them is an issue. So wearing your armor and having your weapon at your side, that's a problem. Not owning them. So it's basically just make sure that you're not equipped for combat, that you're not ready for fighting, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Let's just dump everything in the cart, like under the tarpaulin.
Under the basilisk. We didn't realize this thing. Because, I mean, it's very heavy. No one's going to lift it.
Transit.
Okay. Right. So
Yeah, I think let's just put them under the top of it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and you're entering the northernmost gate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, fine. Okay. So you approach the northernmost gate on the western side of the city, which heads towards the West Docks district, because again the brass tankard is more or less on the waterfront. So at this point it's sort of evening time, and it's getting rather dark. Manning the gate are two guards. You recognize their garb. They've got featureless silver masks covering their face and sort of burgundy cloth draped around their head and their neck. The armor that they have is, if you imagine like a Roman legionnaire's armor, something like that. They're heavily armed and equipped. You can tell by their body language they look somewhat bored. They're probably on this duty for, maybe 6 hours or 8 hours. And there are merchant carts coming and going. You essentially join a queue. Some they seem to wave by, others they inspect and examine. So one cart goes and you move a bit forward. Another cart goes and you move a bit forward. They stop one of the carts and examine them. They seem to be questioning the driver of the cart. This is the one right before yours. Eventually he gets waved through. As you begin to move forward, are all of you just walking. You're on foot. Is that correct? Around this wagon.
Yeah.
Correct. What is there an appropriate place for servants to be, like following behind or in front or on the side?
Yeah, perhaps sort of behind.
Okay. Break will be at the back then.
So we'll
Okay.
Adair.
Breaker, can you roll me a perception, please? What did you get?
9.
We need to get to that tank. The brass tankard.
Breaker needs his booze so he can roll better.
He's got too much blood in his alcohol system.
Exactly. You've got that rubrum stuff on standby as well. Okay, so the guards look at you. Obviously, you can't see any expressions on their face because they're wearing these masks. So these silver masks glare at you. And you are ushered forward. And luckily for you, they simply wave you forward.
Nice.
They don't expect anything. As you enter the city, I would like everybody now to roll a perception, please.
Twelve.
13 for Elias.
Okay.
5.
14 for Breaker.
14 for Tenok.
Okay. So, Breaker and Elias and Adair, as you enter the city, bearing in mind it's getting quite dark at this time, you notice high up on the cemetery rock by the fortress, the sort of fortress tower, it's rather strange. You see a sickly red glow coming from the fortress tower high up on the cemetery rock. It's rather strange. You can't tell if doesn't look like torchlight. Again, it's sort of this dark reddish or dim reddish glow. So from here you're heading to the brass tankard, correct?
Correct. Can I do a knowledge nature just to see if it's natural or if it's magic?
Okay, sure.
Like if it's a fire or something like that.
Sure, go for it.
— 16.
Breaker, you would imagine that no natural light source that you have seen would emit light of this color.
You said it was
And
a
this-
reddish glow. Sorry.
It is sort of the sickly reddish glow emanating from the tower and sort of blanketing some of the buildings around. It's very unusual. The atmosphere in the city is rather dark and foreboding and oppressive.
Adair looks to Yuey and questions whether or not he might know something.
Breaker brings that forward to the group and says, "There's magic up there," and points at the fortress. But not in earshot of anybody else.
I've never seen anything like it before. It must be magic. Is there something that the Yuey can define about the glow through his learnings of the arcane arts?
So you want to know if anything that you might have learned about would do such a thing. Is that correct?
Just want to sort of see if Yuey understands what the nature of this fight is, or what kind of school of magic would produce such a glow.
Do you want to roll me an Arcana, please?
Let's say a dirty 20.
A dirty 20.
Yeah, not a natural one, but a dirty one.
Fantastic. Okay, well, so you definitely know that this is not natural, and you suspect it is something which is magical, and in your countless hours spent in the in the sheltered halls of academia, poring over tomes and gathering knowledge. There is only a handful of items that you are aware of that might cast such a glow. One of which that you have read about is known as the Blood Orb.
Ominous.
What does the orb do?
So you're trying to recall from the text that you read. There wasn't much information on this item known as the Blood Orb, right? It was rumored to be long lost, many hundreds of years past, and it had the ability to communicate and draw power from the realm of Dis.
Just what?
And is this like the realm of the dead, or what kind? What would you know about this?
So it's short for Dictator. So
Sorry.
this is South Africans, right? It's like a colloquialism in South Africa. But it's Dictator, short for Dictator. So it's kind of like hell.
Yeah. So Yuey, says, I believe there can only be one source for that light. It's an artifact called the Blood Orb, and I believe that light is from this itself.
Elias. I have a feeling this has something to do with their graveyard.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So just remember, Yuey, that it's a suspicion. You aren't 100% sure, but you think that basically. You're not 100% on it, but so you carry on going towards the brass tankard down the sort of west docks. The cobblestone roads kind of wind slightly downhill towards the docks district. You can, of course, smell the ocean before you can see it. The fresh sea air fills your lungs. The sound of busy docks grow louder and louder. Yes, even at this time, it is still busy. The road opens to the docks of Repertum. You see masts and sails and rigging. They fill your view. Men go here and there, carrying cargo, inspecting manifests, and along with this, you can see the officials of the Dominion going about their business. One more perception, please, from Elias and Breaker.
Elias is looking out longingly at the ships. 11 for Elias.
19 for Breaker. He was actually looking around.
Okay, so you see something which you have not seen in a long time. Breaker, you see a beautiful sight. A sight you've been longing to see for many, many moons. You see a ship that looks very much like the ship upon you once sailed. The ship known as the Kainos, the Swan.
Where is it? It's just like docked.
It's docked, indeed.
And nudge Elias, Kainos. And point.
Elias's like breath catches in his throat as he snuts it.
You see as well, by the sort of mooring where the ship is, you see two armed individuals who look like Senatory Guard standing right by that ship. You don't know what they're doing, but perhaps they're on guard, but they're just standing there, which you think is unusual. So, at this point, you're right near the brass tankard. So, as you enter the brass tankard, the doors creak The door creaks on its hinges, and you step inside. It looks to be a relatively modest establishment, although the air has a herbal fragrance. The wooden floor creaks as you step inside, and you're greeted with a sight. Above the windows, on the wall opposite the bar, is a row of what look to be monstrous skulls, all mounted upon plaques and watching over the space below. An elven gentleman greets you. He's wearing a green jerkin, and you recognize this chap, Elias Breaker, as Aris. You have met him before, and he says, "Good day to you. How may I be of service?"
We're looking to sell this. And Elias lifts up the top to show you.
So you've taken the cart inside the tavern.
Right back.
Then he came out to meet us. Yeah, we've got a something we want to sell. And Elias nods at like the skulls on the wall.
Yes, sir. What exactly would you like to sell?
The basilisk head.
So you're going to take him outside to view this creature in the back of the cart, or have you brought the head inside?
No, I think we'll bring it.
Okay. Okay, cool. So you and he does recognize both Elias and Breaker because you've been here before. So you lead Aris outside to the cart, and you lift up the tarpaulin, and it's almost like, you know, when there's like cloth stuck to a wound, and it like peels off to reveal that it's now really smelly. By the way, it stinks. Oh goodness! You would like to sell me this?
For the wall. Add to your collection.
Yes. Yeah, quite. What price exactly?
Do I have like the slightest clue of what the going price of a basilisk head would be?
You tell me.
How much is a gold talent worth?
25 silvers.
Like 4 talents.
Okay, so are you saying this to him?
Ask him what his offer is. Because I've got another buyer lined up.
Well, I think perhaps 50 denarii is fair.
This thing almost petrified one of my men. How about we call it 100 denarii?
Breaker like pops up from his like hunched over demeanor, and you're like, "Do you know how hard this thing was to kill? Can I roll an intimidation?"
Yes, go for it. And do you want to perhaps roll a persuasion, Elias?
Yes.
Well, how about you and Adair? What are you doing at this time, right? So you've seen this thing going on. They obviously peeled back the tarpaulin, and the stench is like horrendous. And they're speaking to this elven gentleman with a sort of a smart green jerkin on. What are you guys doing?
I think Adair's still inside. She's just like having a look at all the other other heads.
Okay. And how about Yuey?
So, Yuey pretends to be a bit petrified still from this from the attack of the basilisk. moving stiffly.
Do you see how it's almost ashy it is?
You know what? Yuey's got a cantrip called prestidigitation, which he can cause a minor illusion.
That's
so he's going to make his skin go slightly grey.
That's awesome. Okay, so you're actually going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, Elias, did you roll persuasion, right?
I got a 10.
Roll with advantage, please.
Okay, cool.
12.
When you intimidate.
8.
Ah. Okay. Do you not want to use? Do you have inspiration that you can use?
No, I used that in the last session.
Breaker, do you have inspiration you can use?
think
Can-
it does.
Okay. What's up to you, obviously. So what did you get on your...
I'm fine with the 12 intimidate.
Okay. So Elias and you're kind of trying to convince this guy that this beast was super dangerous, and like Yui's got an odd shade of gray. You like look over it, and you have to do a double take. You're like, what the hell? Like his like skin is like ashen and gray. You're like, what the hell's going on here? And the elf looks over it. He doesn't seem particularly impressed. His demeanor hasn't changed at all. And Breaker, you said you're kind of getting up in his face, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay. He kind of looks around. He says, while I do appreciate your position, 50 denarii is all I will offer.
Okay. I'm gonna speak to my other buyer, and I will get back to you.
Very, very good, sir. Very good. Might you want a drink?
Indeed.
Sure.
Should have had a drink first and then did this thing.
Yeah. At this point, Adair's already sitting down with a drink.
Okay, cool. So Adair, you've gone inside and you're getting yourself a drink. And then what about Yuey and Breaker and Elias? Are you guys going inside now?
Yeah, we'll cover up the body and then head inside for a drink.
Okay, so you're leaving this cart outside, more or less in the street, right?
Like in like a little side road alley, I guess. Like where do you pitch the horse?
Yeah. So I mean, you could tie the horse up, but there's going to be a cart still there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think someone could run away with a Faceless body?
We'll smell them out. It's fine.
Okay. So
We can always grab a drink and come outside, right? There's no like liquor laws.
no, that's fine. You can do that. Okay. So as you go inside, Aris nips back behind the bar and he asks you what you would like to drink.
That run. I'll take a bottle for here and a bottle for later.
Okay.
I think Yuey would like to ask our master brewer for a recommendation.
Adair.
That is a very good question. I have no idea what this town has to offer.
Well, because of your knowledge on the subject, Adair, you do recall some rather fine types of drink. Some of the names that come to mind are the Hill Giant, which is a type of really good beer, a wine which is called the Monteo 88, which is a very, very fine vintage. There's also some really good sort of spirits. The Southern Cane is a very good molasses spirit, like a rum. And there's also the Oldheim 4, which is a sort of an aged spirit. Those are some of the names that come to mind about sort of top shelf stuff.
What was the beer? Hill?
The Hill Giant.
The Hill Giant. Yeah, that is probably what Adair has already gotten herself and recommends it to the group.
Dwarves and giants, mortal enemies.
Yes.
Not when it comes to beer.
Not when it comes to drink.
No.
Drinking buddies. Hey.
So hearing that, Yuey actually chuckles a bit, and then he says, "That's my father's favorite beer."
Ah.
But he gladly accepts a tankard.
Cool. So if you want to keep track of the cost, it's pretty expensive for a tankard of this beer. It's 10 bronze pieces. And then what did Breaker want?
Two bottles of Southern Cane.
Southern Cane. Very fine rum. However, quite expensive. 8 silver pieces per bottle. And how about Elias?
His hands on the necks of the bottles and then looks at Elias.
Yeah,
Elias is just like...
Elias, Panog, and Breaker are just gonna share that bottle of rum.
One now for one for later.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, fantastic. So, so you pay for your drinks. So this establishment is relatively busy at this time as well. I mean, even though the circumstances in the city are not the best, it seems like people are still gathering in these fine establishments to drink their worries away and socialize and have a good time, just unwind as people do. As you turn around, so you've got your drinks, you're at the bar, you've gotten your drinks, and you turn around. So Elias and Breaker, and I'll describe what you all see. So you see a particular group of individuals sitting on one of the far tables. At the head of the table, you see a human individual wearing a ruddy sort of petticoat, and he's got like pantaloons on. He's balding, and he has an earring in his left ear. He's got sort of quite stout features. You recognize this individual straight away as Ludum Oceanhand.
Amazing.
And with that, I think we need to take a break.
Yes. So, Ludum being the quartermaster of your old ship's crew, right?
Yeah, we're trying to find it.